Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello, I'm Dion. Um, and this is my channel where I talk about, I guess, queer stuff. um, and today I want to give my quick thoughts and opinions on the new Japanese dating show, The Boyfriend. I just watched episode 1. If you want to see my reaction, it is live on my Patreon page. Link below for your convenience. Go watch it on my Patreon page. Um, and I have some thoughts for this first episode. Now, for those who are new, you may not know this, but I've watched other dating series. Currently watching the third season of His Man. I've seen the first two. Watching the third one. Currently getting through Boycation, which is from Hong Kong. I completed Boys Like Boys, which is from Taiwan. I may start watching that camp one. I forgot the name of it. It's from the Philippines. It's on YouTube. I may watch that after this show. Who knows? So I've seen a handful of these shows, but I think that's warping my thoughts on this because from watching The Boyfriend first episode, there does not seem to be a good structure as far as like how they're showing it and the editing. And what I mean is they have the typical preview of the season and they showed like aerial shots of location, which is nice. It looks very nice, very well shot. And then they have the boys enter the house, commentary, confessional type thing, talking about themselves and whatnot. And I was like, okay, work. That's lit. But then we get to, I guess the mission. I don't know what the mission is because we go through the episode and it's like, oh, they're gonna do like they're gonna run a coffee truck, right? But as you're watching the show, 5 boys enter first, and then one randomly comes a little bit later than them, which we don't know why he came late. Maybe he's working. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. It's not explained very well. But it's not explained what they're doing when it comes to the coffee truck thing. They just started like thinking of a name and trying to do this thing, but they didn't explain that. There's no setup. So I'm like, they're just randomly doing this, but then you eventually figure it out. But I wish it was more clear on what they're doing. But it seems like they're using the coffee truck as a way to kind of get the boys to be in duos and pairs on a shift to have them bond with each other, which I think is a cool idea. Rather than just going on a typical date, they're working a shift together, so you get to bond and know each other through that format, which I kind of like. I like it a lot actually. So that's cool. However, we get to them talking about why they decided to be on the show, which was cut short. We didn't hear everyone's reasoning, which I was like, oh, that sucks. And they get the whole little mission where you have to leave a card anonymous card. I can't pronounce that word. Anonymous card with a little letter to the person you kind of like, kind of feel, you kind of interested in, and they get to read it. So similar to the other shows having the phone thing where you call someone that you like, this one you just write a letter. Which I think is very cool. I like that concept. Some boys got letters, some boys didn't, some got multiple. Oh my goodness, he got a bunch. He got 3, I think, which is cool. But then we cut to them, I guess, training to be the baristas on this coffee truck. But we cut to it, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna teach you how to do this," and they show one pair learning how to do the coffee stuff. But then one half of the pair had to leave. I'm like, why did he leave? What he's supposed to be doing? I thought they were living in his house. And we cut to him on his birthday with his homegirl just chit chatting. And I'm like, that was an odd thing to put in there. We barely got to know these boys just yet. They barely got to know each other. Yeah, we're watching his little birthday party off to the side. Didn't care for that. And then cut to the next day, they're at the beach. No setup for the beach. They're just at the beach hanging out. It'd be kind of great to see them set up for the beach. The boys talking to each other as they went to the beach, after the beach. We saw them hanging out. It was a good montage. Visually, it was a great visual. Them hanging out, kikiing, all that stuff. But there was no conversation. So like, who's bonding with who? What's going on with what? Beyond having a good time. And they did have confessionals talking about everyone's physiques, I guess. So that's something. But and then what else happened? They were informed that there's another guy that's coming to the house. we cut to them going to a club, and then they're at the club and they're like kikiing, and the Go-Go Boys go up to do a performance, and we find out one of the Go-Go Boys is the next member in the house, which was like, okay, cool. And everyone's kind of shook, and that's pretty much what happened in the first episode. The structure, how they did things, there's no setup and there's no payoff. You have to kind of like just understand what's happening as it's happening, but they're not setting nothing up. And we're not seeing much bonding and talking between between the household, the members, the contestants. So that's a bit strange for me. But visually, the show looks good. Visually, it's just some story beats are not hitting for me. Also, one thing I don't care for is we have a host of commentaries that we keep jumping back and forth to. We have the boys in the house and that whole thing, but then we jump to a set where we have like 5 hosts talking about the show, reacting to, and all these things. I do not care for all that, me personally. I know I'm a reactor reacting, but you're watching my reaction as I'm watching it live. In the show, we're cutting away from. Some of it is quick commentary and it goes back and forth, which is fine, but then some of it we just sit for like 5 minutes having them just discuss. And I'm like, oh, can we, I don't like that. I don't like that. And I know there's been some dating shows I've seen that have that same format, so I'm used to that format in some ways. But when it comes to these like Boys Like Boys and His Man, even Boycation, they weren't doing all that. So I'm like, I don't care for that personally. But yeah, I'm about to watch episode 2. So if you want to see my reaction, like I said, I'll be reacting live on my Patreon. Not live on Patreon. It'll be live on my Patreon. So become a patron. Let me know your thoughts below on this first episode. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Give the video a thumbs up, and I will see y'all in the next one.